This video is to review interval notation. So interval notation is an efficient way to describe the domain or range of an infinite amount of numbers. So when would I use interval notation and when would I not? Let's look at the graph on the left. Okay, if I were to try to describe the domain or the range of the graph on the left, I would notice that I only have 2 points. So if I'm only going to describe 2 points, I would use set notation in this case because I could easily list the numbers in the domain and the range. Where here on the right, you'll notice I have a line. A line extends infinitely in both directions. I'm not going to sit and take the time to list an infinite amount of numbers. In this case, I'd want to use interval notation. All right, so let's do some examples that you're going to see coming up in the lesson tomorrow. So before we do interval notation, just a quick note, there are 2 types of brackets. There are the square brackets, I call them square brackets, and they correspond to closed circles. And this indicates you're going to include a number. And then there are round brackets, which indicate you are not going to include the number, and they correspond to an open circle. So that's key to remember. And then one thing I do to remember is I think if I had a round circle that was open and I erased half of it, do you see how it would kind of look like the round bracket? So that's kind of how I remember what to do. I know that sounds cheesy, but it does actually work. Okay, so let's describe the following set of numbers in interval notation. And I'm just going to make up something pretty straightforward. So here's the number 0. I'm going to have a big open circle, arrow like that. I'm going to do this. And I'm going to do another open circle. Let's make this the number 5. And let's go like that. Okay? When you're describing interval notation, the first thing you want to do is go left to right like you're reading a book. Where are we coming from? Well, it looks like because I have the arrow, I'm coming from negative infinity. So I'm going to put negative infinity. And I hope you remember that negative infinity or positive infinity, it's not a real number. It is a concept. So I can't ever put square brackets around any type of infinity symbol. So I need to put round brackets, okay? So I'm coming from negative infinity, comma, I'm going to 0, but I'm not including 0 because there's an open circle, so I want round brackets. Now, to explain that I have to keep going and include the values between 0 and 5, I'm going to put a U for union because I'm joining the set of numbers together, round bracket, 0, comma, 5, but then I'm not including 5, so I'm putting round brackets. Okay? But I still need to describe all the numbers to the right of 5. So I'm going to put a union symbol and then 5, but I'm going all the way down to positive infinity, making sure that I put, can you see that, a round bracket around infinity. So here's one example. I'm going to do in the next video a couple more examples for you so you can get the hang of it. I hope that was helpful.